Hey gangsters, it's been a little while since TK's been on YouTube. I haven't really driven anywhere. Weather's been kind of crap up here, but it is starting to turn for the better now. For the positive, I figured might as well take a look and see what's going on with this four-wheel linkage. I don't know if you recall, but from one of my videos, can't move that shifter at all. And the shifter is connected to a series of bars and levers down below, which I'll show you. And I probably should have dealt with this when I had it in the other shop, but I don't know why I never did. Let's do it. I'm gonna try and fix that transfer linkage with the plate in place. I think I'm gonna take the top off where the shifter knobs are as well, so I can get some access from above. All right, so the situation is this. Here's this big plate. And underneath the big plate, let's get a light on here, is the transmission, and at the side of the transmission is a series of levers right here. Those levers are the four-wheel drive shifter. It's possible, I think, that I can get my arms up in and fix this system and leave the plate in place. So there's the shifter arm going up at the top there with that spring attached to it. So it attaches to this arm here, and this little square block right here, and that bar that runs through it is supposed to be able to move along that bar. It doesn't seem to be moving much. So I'm going to spray a whole bunch of WD-40 in here and on all of these little connector points here, and see whether or not I can get any movement and leave this plate in place. I get a bunch up in there too. Keep it good soaked down. Right, so while you guys are watching that gorgeous sunrise, and we haven't had a lot of good ones lately in Masset, while you were watching that, I was taking the shifter system, the four-wheel drive shifter from the top, and see if I can get access to take this linkage bar out. And what I want to do is I want to take it out of the system and see whether or not the shifter will work without being attached to that linkage bar. So I'm going to take it out. It is, well, it has two angle ends to it that attach through some bushings into the frame of the system. So it's a matter of getting those out, popping them out, hopefully, and we'll see how it goes. But it has two ends to it, obviously, being a linkage bar. Pop them off without damaging the bushing that attaches it. So there's one right there. So let's get a little bit more light on the situation. And you can see that it comes part of the way fairly easily, but then it just slides back in. Get there, get there, get there. So I have a new plan. Instead of taking the front of the linkage off first, I'm going to try taking the back of the linkage off. I'm going to do that by disconnecting the arm that connects it to the transmission. So here's the front of the linkage with that little square bit. And right behind it is a bolt. That's the back of the linkage. And as luck would have it, there's a conveniently placed hole in the plate. It's going to take a lot more time than I thought. Okay. So there's the nut off the back of that link. Okay, with a little bit of play now, you can see that this linkage is moving. off of the bolt. Almost off. There. So that's totally off now. That's the back of it. So I'm hoping that the whole thing will drop now so that I can pull the front of it out. Come on. Okay, so I got the back half off. I'm going to pry that off, get the rest of it off, and then we'll take a look and see if this linkage moves at all. A victory has been achieved. The linkage bar has now been removed. I'm going to clean it up and see whether or not I can get it to move anymore, because this little block is supposed to be able to slide back and forth on the bar. Now that this shifter is not connected to anything, will it move just on its own? It will not. So, there we go. Yeah, well, it will actually. It's just not moving easily. It's not connected to anything, this bar, so it should just move freely. And it is not. Okay, so here is our linkage bar. This piece here is supposed to be able to freely move up and down this bar for a certain distance. And as you can see from all the rust on it, this has not moved for an awful long time. This, and then into the evapor rust it will go. The once recycled evapor rust. Maybe not. Okay, everybody's going in. In you go. In you go. Okay, so this little fella has had some time to sit and think about things. This block is supposed to be able to freely move back and forth, and it now is starting to be able to. I'm going to get a wheel, I'm going to get it on the grinding wheel a little bit, clean it up, but it's already done fairly well. So that will be able to move when I get that shifter moving, no problem. That's what that evapor rust can do. It's pretty good stuff, and it's reusable, so I'll be able to take this stuff and put it right back into the jar and use it again. Here's the other part of that, the bar that links that lever to the actual transmission. So I'll have to clean that up as well, but it's already looking better. I'm going to put the lever back together. Just push it back into the bushing here. All right, back into the bushing. Back in there. Hopefully, the whole piece will go back together onto the side of the transmission, and I can be shifting into four-wheel. So, that is my hope. All right. So with a little help from the tapometer, the shifter has been getting better. So this bolt here is where things get really tight. It makes it very difficult to move back and forth, but I think it's just going to take some working back and forth, because it hasn't been shifted in years. It's been stuck in one position, and now I actually can move it, which means it's time to reconnect this little fella, and then I can start just moving the whole thing back and forth. Hopefully get some four-wheel drive out of this. That would be cheap, a lot cheaper than I expected it to be. Let's get it done. That would be cheap. That would be a lot cheaper than I expected it to be. The shifter moves. The linkage has all been cleaned. So it's just a matter now reconnecting it and seeing whether or not the thing will actually move. If not, if there's something more serious underneath, then I guess we'll have to go into the transmission. Hopefully not. Anyway, I gotta get down into that mess and put everything back together now. Here we go. Okay, so this should be a simple matter of putting this lever back onto a bolt. Nothing simple, of course, when you add the element of trying to film it. There's a bolt right back there. This should be a simple matter of putting this lever back onto the bolt and then connecting it to the shifter. 15 mil, put it back on. Let's see if I can actually just slide it up and do it from here. Now I'm starting to understand why they put that hole in the plate. Look at that, I'm halfway there. Slide this little guy on. Spinny, spinny. Righty tighty. No way. No way. And then you back in there. That went so much smoother than I expected it. Oh, this is going to be forever. Screwdriver up from the depths. So we got this part of the lever onto the bushing. Now it's just a matter of getting this back bolt tightened. I'm going to get up top, it's going to shift, and hopefully this lever will move. That looks like a win. Okay, give this guy a little try up here. There we go. So, over, down. I'm going to continue to kind of work away at that, but that's our simple fix. Not sure if anything inside the transmission is actually moving or how we test that, except getting it out on the road. So now I'll simply get this shifter boot back on. Well, thanks to my wife and Facebook Marketplace and a fellow by the name of Kamen Karuska in Kelowna, say that 5 times, this showed up in the mail today. I get paid $70 including shipping up to the Guay for this carburetor. He had switched to Holly. I obviously can't do that because I've got the collector plate thing and I got to keep it stock. Immediately noticeable is how much cleaner this carburetor is than mine. We have to let it warm up a little bit, I think. And it seems to have a few more parts than mine did. Specifically, there's a couple of injection ports down in the chamber down in there where the gas and the air mix. I'm going to attempt to disconnect the old and put on this new carburetor. So let's get the greasy old girl off He's also sending me the thermostatic valve that goes on top of the air cleaner, or the air cover, that apparently will bring the gate up and down so that I can get warm air in so it'll idle better. So join me as I attempt to swap carburetors on the 87 Wrangler old TK412. Let's go. So what is immediately evident is the level of filth. Filth and flarn. There's 4 bolts that hold it on, and then there's a whole bunch of extra little attachments here that are going to have to come off as well. And making sure that they go back on in the right order is going to be interesting. And when I disconnect this, I'm going to take a series of pictures so that I can try to remember where everything went. So now that all those are off, I'm going to get this there's two flatheads here that hold this plate, which sort of a mounting plate that this filters on. Probably easier if I just take this filter cover off and get it right out of the way, but why be easy? I'm not going to take apart anything that I absolutely don't have to. If it's possible for this to start hurting my back, it actually is. Move you off to the side. Okay, so now we can start to see what else needs to come apart. This little spring is going to have to come off. That should be easy enough. There you go, Mr. Spring. You stay there. This little fella here is going to have to come off the throttle body. I'm not sure exactly how that's even held on, so we'll do that a little later. Get this guy off. You go up there. This other one will have to come off as well. Pushy. I'm getting there. Okay. Take this module here off. Right down in there is the fuel line. So next I'm going to disconnect the fuel line, which is a 13 mil wrench and a 15 mil, and hopefully not spill fuel everywhere. There we go. So that's free. There's my injector. I don't want to lose that. Please don't lose that. Brilliant old Williams just figured something out. Rather than undoing these 4 Torx bits in the complicated environment that this is, I'm just going to unplug this sensor, take the whole damn thing with me back to the other shop and disconnect it all. There's one wire attached to the thermostat. It's a little thermostatic coil for the choke. I'm down to having to wrench this off somehow. This little pin that goes down to the accelerator. I'm down to having to rinse. There's a plunger here that pulls up on the cable when you push the accelerator, and you can see that what that does is it moves this. So I need to disconnect this plunger somehow. Right here, I need to disconnect that. That looks like it's just sort of a piece of rolled metal. How tough could it be? Well, he's free. I've got a gasket down here that I've got to try to save. This hose has a monstrous flit in it and isn't really doing anything. So he's going to have to come off. Ooh, lots of cleanup to do. Now that I have the two carbs side by side, there's some pieces that I'm going to have to harvest off of the old one. You know, this mounting pin here for the air filter, gasket. Number one, I got to get the gasket there. I need to get this gasket off and onto here safely. So I'm going to carefully remove that. I'm going to try to do this without cracking this gasket. Although it seems like now that might be a little bit of a difficult ask. Ooh, good. Feeling good. Come on, Pogacha. Aha. There we go. Success. Gasket. Okay, so time to get this big metal tower off of here. I think it's a T10. It is in fact a T10. Okay, so there's a couple little rods and a spring on this that clearly need to be kept in place. I think what I'll do is I'm going to put that spring into the other unit so that I don't lose it, and then I'm going to clean this guy up and get it mounted. With this gasket off, I want to clean this plate as best as possible so that I get a good fit when I put it back on. Little gasket seal. And you should be good to go. Make sure those contacts are clean. There's little contacts in there where it plugs into that sensor. Don't even know what it does. I'm sure somewhere in the comments someone can tell me what it does. Here. Goop. Marine goop, amazing gasket seal and adhesive. A thin bead all the way around. Spring goes in the center. And then slip him in. Those three holes line up. And the spring goes in. Make sure that spring is in. them down really good. Ooh, she's tight. Okay, that's that little bit done. Oh, gasket sealant around the outside here. Might as well take an opportunity to try to improve the airflow with this. And we'll drop this little fella on. Come on, you. There we go. Starting to get in shape. Looks like it was broken in the past because it's been glued in the past. So that's some old gasket seal someone's put on there. And I would probably get a new gasket altogether, except this is Haida and those things just don't exist. Let's do our gasket seal. Well, during the removal of the old carburetor, we uncovered a fuel line that had completely blown apart. Small enough chunk, but fortunately Kirk had 3/8 fuel line, so we got to cut a little piece of that, get it on the bottom, that connects here, and then we should be ready to reinstall, and hopefully it runs. We shall see. All the parts are doing what they're supposed to do. Right, the accelerator goes down, and you can see that it opens up the air. Accelerator goes down, and you can see it. So everything's moving in the right directions. Fingers crossed. Okay, everything's reconnected. Now it's time to throw them on TK. See if she runs. Some new hose clamps. Let's go. Bazinga. Well, that went back disturbingly easy. Like I know there's something I'm missing. Like, well, we're gonna find out. Okay, I need to reconnect an electrical. Well, everything has been reconnected with the new carb. Can't really test out the 4-wheel linkage here. We'll have to get it out on the road for that. Why don't we see if it starts? Oh please, oh please. Okay, new thermostatic choke. Rebuilt carb, 70 bucks. Got to get her out on the road now. That sure sounds better. Thanks for watching. Next time you see me, I'll probably be out on Rose Spit, hopefully in 4-wheel drive. Take care.